So, you try to rescue a little girl, but you got bit and have to cut your arms off because you don't want to become a walker. You might think that your VR playing days are over, but before you throw your headset away, I have something for you. Here's are 10 selected VR games that I try to play using only one hand. I will rank it depending on how well this game works with only one controller. Here's how I rank it. S means that the game plays perfectly fine with one controller, or even have a proper one-handed mode. A means that while something can be done with one hand, it can be easily avoided or have an easy alternative way to do it. B means a lot of things can be done with one hand, or an alternative way to do it is hard to do and can be a problem in the long run, but it is still playable otherwise. And F means that the game is impossible to play with one hand. The game might depend on an action that requires another hand or even both hands to be used. I will be using the left controller even though I'm right-handed because it's often the one with locomotion and you need to walk in a lot of these games. That means that I can't turn in game most of the time, but I'm not gonna mention it in the tier list itself, but you should know that. That being said, let's get started with not a lot to say about this game since I have already made 2 videos about it. If you don't watch those videos, similar gameplay is walk around, going somewhere, kill walkers, loot stuff, scrap the loot for resources, craft items using those resources to survive, sleep, and repeat. With only one hand, you can only do 2 of these things, so in the F it goes. At least you can still eat something.
Yo, this edible ain't shit.
This game is technically playable since most of the time you just move and shoot and you can do both one-handed. But you cannot buy a gun. Even when you found one, you cannot reload it. Some gun will even jump off your hand if you try to fire it one-handed. I forgot about using the shotgun, the bolt action, or any grenade. Also, while you cannot plant a bomb in both search and destroy and push, you can defuse it. This game is still playable, so it goes in B. Moving on to a similar game like Onward, do you think this game will be like Pavlov? And it kinda is, but here's the thing, you need the other hand to use the menu, and you can't really change it either. If I can't even get into the game in the first place, this game probably deserves to be in F. So the first 3 games are actually very terrible to play one-handed. Let's see the game that actually work one-handed.
Kept you waiting, huh?
H3 VR or Hotdog Horseshoes and Hand grenade. Unlike those 3 games that I already mentioned, you can actually reload in this game. You can reload when the gun is on the table or in your holster. Both action, slide, or charging handle can be pulled with one hand, so every gun can be used. You can even just slam your gun at the wall to rack it. The only problem is that you can use the in-game weapon, but you can use it when you open the game. So this one is gonna go in the A tier. But enough about shooting. What about slashing? In Chivalry 2, you can still use one-handed to fight. Oh, wrong game. In Blade and Sorcery, you can still use your weapon one-handed, even with the two-handed one, albeit harder. The magic spell can still be used. You can even enchant your weapon while it is on the ground. Climbing is a lot harder, but still can be done. And you can use your gravity spell to make up for the jumping. Just don't die while still in the game, because without the in-game menu, you're gonna be stuck in limbo and cannot respawn. So with that problem, this game gonna be in B. Speaking of B, let's talk about B Saber. Our first rhythm game in this tier list. This game actually had one-handed mode, but it looked like they kinda give up on that mode because that mode started to be missing since the 3rd song pack and isn't included in the latest song pack. I don't know about the DLC though because I didn't buy any of them. From what I have seen, there is at least a custom song with one-handed mode to download, but that's mod and not the game itself, so this game gonna be in B. This game is kinda terrible, so let's give the other rhythm game a shot. Pistol Whip is fully playable with one hand, that's why the game called Pistol Whip and not Pistols Whip. Every song in the game can be played with one-handed except for some of the challenges that force you to have 2 guns. Even then, you can still able to use only one gun. Shooting, reloading, and pistol whipping only required one hand. So this game is our first S tier on this list, because they make it work. Unlike the other game like Sinner or Blade and Sorcery, our character cannot climb in this game one-handed because he actually had weight. And if you played Boneworks before, you will know that the game have a lot of climbing section. Even though you can't climb one-handed, you can still climb one-handed with slow motion. But you still can't jump, so you aren't gonna get past anyway past the first puzzle. I did some searching And there's a guy who beat Boneworks with quote-unquote one-handed, but he still used the other hand to walk, so that's kind of cheating. It doesn't count. This game going to be in F. Moving on to VR chat. You cannot use the menu to change your avatar or go to another world, but you can do it by going through the portal that already exists in the default home. There are 9 portals in the default home. 2 of them are avatar worlds and the rest are minigame and regular world. While some of the worlds have their own portal you can go through, it's still pretty limiting in terms of where you can go. But if you are okay with that, this game is in the B tier. At least you can still look at the mirror. On to the last game in this video. Like Alex is the only game on this list that needs you to change the control in the Steam VR itself to use the in-game one-handed mode. As much as I want to say that it is perfect, it's really not. Sure, you can reload, shoot, and use items, but for some reason, they force you to use teleport only, and you will need to constantly switch back and forth between your weapon and your empty-handed, which make one of the puzzles become a lot harder since you can't use two-handed, and the gunfight can be very annoying. Other than those problems, this game is fully playable, so this game gonna go in A. And there you have it. What game do you think should be higher or lower in this tier list? Tell me about it in the comments. If you have a game you want to see in this tier list, also tell me in the comments. Before you go, let me show you one more game. Doesn't look that bad actually. Ah, fuck!
Thank you.